Good afternoon and welcome to the Division of Employment Securities webinar on the North Carolina Unemployment Insurance Tax System, referred to as NC Suits. I'm Larry and I'll be serving as your moderator for today's session. Today's session will discuss how to create a payment allocation file for ACH payments in NC Suits. By now, I hope that those on the webinar have visited our website or have signed into the new NC Suits tax system. Now let's look at the agenda today for today's short 30-minute program. I'm going to share some highlights about creating payment allocation files for ACH payments, which will be followed by a demonstration. As you can see on the agenda, we have allocated time at the end of our program for an interactive Q&A session with our subject matter experts. During this time, we encourage you to share your questions by typing them in the Q&A panel. Simply click on the three dots on the bottom right corner of your screen, then select Q&A to type in your questions. Please try and keep any questions to today's topic. Any questions asked during this session that are not already on the website will be added to the NC Suits FAQs webpage for future reference. Also, before we get started, we want you to know that this demonstration was created exclusively for training and informational purposes. All information used for this demonstration is fictitious. Go over a few highlights before we start this demonstration. These are a few things that you need to know about creating payment allocation files for ACH payments. Agents can submit a payment for a single employer or a payment for multiple employers. An agent payment must include information on how NC Suits is to allocate the payment among the agent's employers. Payment allocation information is required for all types. There are two ways to allocate payments, manually and with an allocation file. NC Suits will create a payment allocation file in the Download Center. The file can then be completed by the agent to reflect the amounts to apply to each employer account. Manual allocation of a payment can be done during the payment process. However, a payment allocation file must be completed prior to making the payment. Payment allocation file must be uploaded during the payment process. If a payment is made by ACH credit, the addenda record submitted to banks must match total on payment allocation created in NC Suits. If a payment is made by ACH debit or e-check, the payment allocation file must match the total payment submitted in NC Suits. If a payment is made by credit card, the payment allocation file must match the total payment submitted in NC Suits. If payment is made by paper check, the payment allocation file must match the amount mailed to the North Carolina Division of Employment Security. There will be a delay in posting all payments made in NC Suits that do not include the required payment allocation information for the exact payment received. So before we begin let's see here. So before we begin the demonstration, let me highlight a few things that you need to know about creating payment allocation files for ACH payments. All addenda records created for ACH payments must use the 10-digit NC Suits ID number. Do not use ID numbers from Legacy with the check digit. It is highly recommended to create the ACH credit addenda record within NC Suits. While there are file specifications for manually creating the addenda record, NC Suits will create the record that includes all required data to get the payment posted accurately. At this time, we'll get started with the demonstration. I'm going to turn this over to Lisa, and she will demonstrate how employers and agents create a payment allocation file for ACH payments in NC Suits.
Good afternoon. I'm Lisa, and I will be showing you the demonstration for payment allocation files. I want to show you first, we talked about there being two ways in which payments could be allocated, manually or with a file. As an agent, these payment allocation files are primarily for agents. So let's go to payments and make payments. And right here, you choose which file type, which way you want to allocate it. If you choose manually right here, and you choose any of your methods of payment, it's going to bring up the employers that owe money, and you will manually allocate your dollars here. However, if you have more than two, you may wish to use the payment allocation file. And the way in which you do that is under your file submission summary tab, where you've already filed their reports, and you have the confirmation number for which the reports went through, you're able to take this confirmation number and have NC Suits create the payment allocation file on behalf of you. You have to do a little bit to it, but let's go to the download center and let's create the file for confirmation 36662. We're going to scroll down. This download center will print a lot of different reports, got a lot of different options, but we're going to scroll down to download wage file submission download payment allocation file. It will allow you to download a file that contains all of your clients that have a power of attorney on file, or ones that were in a wage report with a confirmation, or ones that have a power of attorney and was in that wage report. We're going to choose to do it with a file that contains only those clients who were in a wage report file. And we're going to tell it we want the file created on this wage confirmation number. When that populates there, we're going to select the radio button and we're going to say download the file. The file downloads in Excel. This is your submitter record, your agent record, if you will. And you've got two employers on this file, their account numbers. The total balance due is in column C for each of these accounts. In column D is the amount for the fourth quarter of 2023. That's the most recent quarter until we get to next Monday. Next Monday, if you're creating this file, you'll see if you file for first quarter, you'll see what's due for first quarter 2024 here. The part that the agent has to do to complete of this file is how much of this money, the total, the most recent quarter due, or something in between that they want to pay for the employer. So while the NC Suits creates your file, you have to complete it by telling us how much you want to make payment for. When you have completed this file, you have to know the total in this column. That's the amount of money that you're wanting to pay in NC Suits. So you're going to save this file and you're going to go back to NC Suits. You're going to go back to your payments. You're going to make a payment. You're going to tell it you want to submit the allocation file. You're going to do ACH credit to submit this allocation file. You're going to hit next, and it's going to ask you to upload that file. It wants your email, and it's going to upload that file. Beyond this point right here, it's going to create your addenda for your ACH credit. And there was a few reminders at the beginning that Larry went over concerning ACH credit addenda records. That's the record that you create in the system. There's specs to create it, but it's a long record that it is just simply better for the system to create that for you. But that's the record that you send to your bank to acknowledge the payment that you want the bank to send to NCDES. When that payment comes back in, that payment amount needs to match this allocation file in order for it to get processed correctly. And what he did indicate, if you're creating your own addenda record, that you should be using the 10-digit NC Suits employer ID and not the legacy account number with the check digit. I think if you'll use the process to create your addenda record through NC Suits, you'll avoid any of those concerns. Larry, I'll turn it back over to you. That's the end of the demonstration for payment allocation. Just use your confirmation number and download center, and it will create that file. You update the file with the dollar amounts that you want to pay against each employer. Upload the file while you're making the payment. When the payment comes in, it'll get applied appropriately to your employers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So as a reminder, des.nc.gov/NC Suits. Again, there's a wide range of materials on that page to help you. Latest webinars, other training videos, documents, and frequently asked questions. There is a NC Suits Technical Assistance Hotline at 919-296-1569. You can reach out to them if you need assistance. Before we leave, we want to remind you that this demonstration was created exclusively for training and informational purposes. All information used for this demonstration is fictitious. Also note that information on topics regarding tax, registration, reporting payments, and filing is based on current state law and is subject to change. Once again, thank you for your excellent questions and for dedicating your valuable time to join us for today's webinar. We appreciate your engagement and look forward to assisting you in your NC Suits journey. Have a great day.